Good morning, everyone. This is Sarah coming to you with another Lithia lesson. Today's Lithia lesson is going to be on the life cycle of a frog. Now that it's springtime, you're going to see a lot of new life starting to come out, and one of those things are frogs. Frogs are amphibians, which means that they live in water or on land. Before they become frogs, they go through stages where they live only in water when they first become a frog. The first stage is an egg. A frog begins its life as an egg, and the female frog can lay up to 4,000 eggs at once. The eggs will float on water clumped together. They will soon hatch into tadpoles. So this is the first stage that I was just talking to you about, an egg. As you can see, they are all clumped together, and they will stay clumped together until they hatch. The second stage is the tadpole stage. When tadpoles hatch out of the eggs, it looks more like a fish than it does a frog. It doesn't have any legs, but it has gills that allows it to breathe underwater. The tadpole swims, eats plants and algae from water, and grows for several weeks. During the tadpole stage, which is the second stage, the tadpole starts to develop lungs so it can breathe out of the water when it becomes a frog. So when they hatch out of the egg, like I was saying, they don't have the frog characteristics yet. They still are more like a fish, which is why it's important for them to develop lungs while they're in the tadpole stage, which allows them to breathe out of the water. And during the second stage, the tadpole begins to grow 2 hind legs that can help it leap and hop around instead of swimming around. So this is the second stage right now. You can see that there's no legs for this tadpole, but when it is in the second stage, that's when it starts to grow its hind legs. But right now, it just looks like a fish. The tadpole grows 2 front legs, and its tail becomes shorter and shorter. So during this stage, which is the third stage, it becomes a young frog. So the tail becomes shorter and shorter, like I was showing you in here. That's the tail. And the tadpole uses nutrients that's stored in its tail for food. So until its tail is gone, it doesn't need anything else to eat because it just uses the nutrients that is already in the tail, which is really cool. Then over time, only a little tail is left, and the tadpole is a frog. So then it starts to grow its other body parts as well, its arms, and see how the tail shrinks from this image to this image. And then it starts to go to the fourth stage, which is the adult frog stage. The frog's tail will eventually disappear during this stage, and it will start to eat insects instead of plants from the water. It can hop out of the water now that it has lungs and all 4 of its legs, and onto land for the first time. So before, even when it grew its hind legs, it couldn't really hop onto land unless its 4 legs and lungs were fully developed. So now that it's an adult frog, it can hop out of the water and onto land. This young frog will grow for about 2 to 4 years to become an adult frog. The adult frogs then lay their eggs, and more tadpoles hatch to begin the life cycle again. So an adult frog is classified as a 2 to 4 year old frog. And that's when females can start laying eggs and then start the life cycle over again. And some fun frog facts is that there are over 5,000 species of frogs that live all over the world in places like the rainforest, the jungle, the rivers, the lakes. There are so many different habitats that can help frogs live and survive. And another fun fact that I didn't know is that frogs absorb water through their skin. So they don't drink the water, they absorb it through their skin, which is pretty cool. So just to review our life cycle, we have the egg, we have the tadpole, we have the young frog, And then we have the adult frog, that is after 2 to 4 years is when it becomes an adult. So I hope you guys enjoyed my Lithia lesson on the life cycle of a frog, and I hope you guys are doing well and have a great weekend. Bye!